Hi again. I'm excited to introduce our next speaker, Melissa Park. Now, Melissa is an award-winning global event producer who specializes in creating high-impact experiences that are guaranteed to exceed your and your attendees' expectations and accomplish your business goals. Now, Melissa is also the creator of the 7 Steps to Event Success Masterclass, a contributing writer to numerous publications, and a sought-after keynote speaker and panelist. Everyone, please welcome Melissa Park.
Hey everyone, I'm Melissa, and today I'm going to be talking to you all about the future of events. So what I thought I would do is split this presentation up into 3 sections. So first off, I'm going to give you a little background information so you know I'm legit. Second, given what we've all just gone through over the last 18 months, I'm going to share the lessons I learned while riding the Corona coaster. And third, I'll share my thoughts on the future of events and give you a sneak peek into a COVID-safe event concept that I created to help us all get back to live in-person events. Okay, so we only have 15 minutes together, so I'm going to power through all of my content really quickly and then answer all of your questions at the end. So if there are any questions I don't get to, I will take note of them and answer them on Instagram. So give me a follow at _Melissa Park, and then you can look out for an Event Titans edition of Q&A with Mel. All right, we have a ton to get through, so let's dive in. Part 1 is my event experience. So the role that I consider to be my first big break was an event coordinator at Reed Exhibitions. So here I worked on high-profile business and consumer events like the PGA Golf Show, the General Practitioners Conference and Exhibition, and the Australian Pharmacy Exhibition. After Reed, I joined Out There Productions, where I led teams behind some of Australia's largest special events. And they included events like the World Masters Games Gala Ball and Closing Celebration. So those experiences, coupled with my desire to run my own business, gave me the confidence I needed to break out on my own and launch my very first event management company in Australia in 2008 at the age of 26. So I quickly began producing events like HSBC Bank's Chinese New Year Gala Dinner Tour, several conferences, and more than 20 outdoor festivals. And they attracted anywhere between 20,000 to 100,000 attendees on a single day. Always dreaming of making it in the US, I moved to the States in 2014, where I began working at a tech startup in Silicon Valley. So I was promoted to their director of global strategic events within 6 months, which was the absolute definition of my dream job. After 2 years in-house, I got the itch and stepped back out on my own in 2017. So I now specialize in elevating brands, amplifying corporate messages, and transforming struggling events into extraordinary must-attend experiences. And this has allowed me to make a name for myself in the tech space for my large-scale conferences, strategic sponsorships, and innovative brand activations. And the little fun fact that I am most proud of is that I've been able to do all of this and build a successful global company based solely on referrals, recognition from attendees on site, and repeat business. So with all of that background knowledge, let's move on to the lessons learned while riding the Corona coaster. So let me set the scene. I entered 2020 living the definition of my American dream. I was renting a gorgeous apartment in Manhattan. I had 30 client events confirmed on my calendar. My business and brand were booming, and I was looking to expand my team. In the blink of an eye, the city went into lockdown. All 30 of my events were cancelled, wiping out 100% of my revenue. Now, once the initial shock wore off, I took stock of the situation that I found myself in. And rather than be a victim to the virus, I decided to change my perspective and be appreciative of this newly found free time to work on my business when I couldn't work in it. So here are 2 of the many, many, many lessons that I have learned over the last 18 months. So lesson number 1, multiple revenue streams are a must. And if you're a full-time employee, the concepts that I'm about to share are just as relevant for you too. So as I just mentioned, pre-COVID, 100% of my revenue came from producing my clients' live in-person events. So the cancellation of large gatherings, as we all know too well, simultaneously wiped out 100% of my revenue. So over the last 18 months, I've expanded my offering and developed 3 ways that someone can now work with my business. So the first way is the end-to-end event management services that I've always provided. And while I don't believe that virtual events compare to the magic of an in-person event, I have mastered the art of an incredibly successful and impactful one. As I mentioned earlier, in part 3, you're going to get a sneak peek of a COVID-safe in-person event concept that I've created. The main takeaway here is that whether we're talking about an event, your career, or your business, you should always be open to learning new skills, seeking out new ways of doing things, and looking for new opportunities to further enhance your current offering. The second way to work with me now is a custom consulting and strategy session. So as we've seen the phased movement from live to hybrid to completely virtual, back to hybrid, and in some cases live, depending on where you are around the world, one of the biggest focal points of these sessions has been around educating organizations that a hybrid event is not a live stream. So while you will share content between the two mediums, to be truly effective, the virtual element of your hybrid event needs to be designed as a standalone experience, and your budget needs to reflect that. So on the virtual side, COVID-related costs you'll need to consider are things like your host platform, additional AV cost, design, pre-event attendee gifts to encourage attendance, post-event gifts with a call to action, and then features and elements to encourage interaction and engagement. And this can include things like an MC, entertainment, photo booths, live scribes, a virtual trade show, one-on-one meetings, roundtables, a swag store, gamification, and the list goes on. On the in-person side, I recommend adding an additional tab to your budget to take into account all of the costs associated with enforcing social distancing rules and COVID-safe procedures. This can include things like venue hire costs if you need additional rooms or spaces to meet square foot rules, additional team members to manage the collection and processing of vaccination certificates or negative test results, the purchase or hire of thermal temperature scanners or staff members to manage this manually, wristbands or identifiers to confirm that a negative test result's been provided, additional costs associated with the delivery of a COVID-safe menu, increased cleaning staff, sanitization stations, and employing COVID-safe marshals. So with that, let's move on to lesson 2, which is giving back to the industry is important in order for all of us to move forward. Now, this lesson is the very reason why I created the third way in which someone can now work with me. I have always wanted to create or build a platform that enables me to inspire and arm up-and-coming event and marketing professionals with the tools and tactics they need to fast-track their success. So with time on my hands, I drew upon 2 decades of event management and marketing experience to create and launch 7 steps to event success. And this is a digital course designed to directly impact the way an event is planned and promoted to set it up for success. So the methods and tactics that I outline in the course are the precise ways that I've delivered sold-out events around the world and significantly increased attendance at previously failing events. For those who can't afford the masterclass, I created a swag store where I share the exact templates that I use with the hopes that it'll make it easier for event planners to create and deliver highly successful, seamless events. And this is really a one-stop kind of plug-and-play shop for all things events. Now with that, let's move on to part 3, which is the future of events. So out of sheer frustration with how long it was taking to get back to live in-person events, I came up with a COVID-safe event concept that was inspired by past events, music festivals, and tours. And this segues perfectly into the third and final section of this presentation. So based on my conversations with clients during lockdown, their biggest concern was surrounding the return of live events was around fear of the unknown impact on their brand. And I was seeing this manifest in 2 ways. So firstly, their customers or prospects viewed the delivery of an in-person event to be negligent. And second, a COVID case or cluster being linked back to attendance at their event. So I turned back to a 10-city Indigenous Youth Festival that I produced back in 2008 and the truck-based brand activations that Miley Cyrus and Zayn Malik used to launch their albums during COVID lockdown. From there came this event concept to literally help my clients get their events back on the road. So let me preface this by saying that the images you are seeing on screen and you're about to see are mock-ups of an experience I designed for one of my tech clients. However, this concept can be tweaked to be a unique experience for any company in any industry based on their business goals and budget. So we all know engagement is key to the success of an event, but experiential marketing was somewhat hard to make happen with the need for social distancing. We also know you should never plan an event for an event's sake. We always need to tie it back to the event mission, which should be defined at the beginning of your planning process. So in this case, Dataiku's mission is to inform, inspire, and bring together the AI community with opportunities to learn from and collaborate with experts, thought leaders and practitioners about real-life data science, machine learning, and AI use cases. So with this mission in mind, we created a 2-hour branded immersive experience that creatively featured all of the elements we showcase at Data IQ events. That includes things like demo stations, presentations, swag, fun photo ops, a DJ, ample networking opportunities, and delicious food and beverage. So while we're talking about catering, music tours traditionally have a craft table, and large-scale events serve buffets. Both are typically free-for-all and open air, which is the very definition of a germaphobe's worst nightmare. Thankfully, this style of catering will not work with COVID. The most obvious COVID-safe catering choice is a stock standard lunchbox, but I cannot bring myself to serve one of those things at my events. So instead, we put a spin on the lunchbox concept and served individually boxed protein-based gourmet salads, mini dessert tasting boxes, and an assortment of canned and bottled beverages. We made sure utensils and napkins were included in each box, so that way no one needed to kind of dig into a bowl or hover around. So it was truly a delicious grab-and-go style setup. With a year of in-person events missed out on, we needed a way to cover as much ground as possible in a time-efficient manner. So our solution was a truck which converted into our main stage with everything we needed to deliver the event stored within it. So for Data IQ, we wanted to hit all of the cities that we would have if we were able to deliver their conferences, executive series, and all of the sponsored events that were cancelled. So with their mission and goals in mind, we designed a 10-city tour to do just that. With this style of event, each city or pit stop only required a local permit for an open space, which allowed for easy load in and load out, and it avoided us having to contract individual venues in each location. So you may be thinking, okay, Mel, this sounds great in theory, but as we move back to in-person events, how do you enforce social distancing rules and COVID procedures? And I've got you. So for this, communication is key. Given what our industry's just endured, or quite frankly, still continues to endure, I don't believe we can be too safe. You just need to design a user-friendly process to deliver all of your requirements as conveniently, speedily, and seamlessly as possible. So in addition to your final pre-event email that gets everyone excited and creates additional buzz, 1 week prior to the event, we suggest sending all registered attendees your COVID-safe event plan. So firstly, they feel safe attending, and then secondly, there are no surprises when they arrive on site. So for Data IQ, we're adhering to all state and federal guidelines. We're ensuring all attendees pre-register. We're asking all attendees to provide a vaccination certificate and a negative test result taken within 3 days of the event. We're temperature checking everyone on arrival. We're asking all attendees to check in via a QR code. We're providing coloured wristbands to assign all of the attendees to smaller groups that they'll move around the site in. We're providing branded PPE that attendees must wear on site, ensuring all food and beverage is individually wrapped with utensils included. We're deep cleaning all surfaces with hospital-grade cleaner pre and post-event. We are ensuring that there are ample sanitizing stations, and we're distributing this pre-event communication and asking anyone experiencing any symptoms to not attend. And then while on site, we've employed fun and friendly COVID marshals who will be strategically placed throughout the site to promote and take practical steps to ensure that all individuals are complying with our COVID-safe practices. So with that, that is a wrap, and it is time for any questions that might have come in. Okay, I think if there are no questions, then I think we're good. Feel free to reach out. If you've got any questions afterwards, you can DM me or send me an email. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation.
All right, thank you, Melissa.